What's going on, people? What's really good? It's your boy Marv, and this is Nerds in the Hood. Folks, we are back again with our list of the top 50 rappers of all time. Like I said, if you are just joining us, I appreciate y'all. Nerds in the Hood. Let me break it down for y'all what we're doing real quick. But just on our last video, we did a segment that we are still doing now called Facts or Fuck Outta Here, which is basically where I break down different lists that I see and just debate if they're really a valid standing list or if they're just like, it's alright. You know what I mean? So we just did part one, which was rappers 50 through 26 of Forbes's list of the top 50 rappers of all time. And now we are going to continue, which is going to go right back into it, with rappers 25 through 1, of course. I already pretty much said who number 1 is on the last video. So if you want to check that out and you didn't yet, go ahead. Now is the time. I'm always here. It's YouTube, baby. I ain't going nowhere. But as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Nerds in the Hood. Comment about what you just saw. Write who you think is the top rapper or the top rapper of all time. Yeah, write about it. Let's talk about it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So again, I'm just basing it off of who I think is like some of the most impactful rappers in the game. Some of the people who changed the game. I'm not really going so much about album sales. You would think with Forbes they would have, but it doesn't sound like they did. I think they went off of a combination of different things. So let's see what those combinations are real quick as we check that out. All right, so we got number 25. Number 25 is Ice Cube. Now, I'm going to say facts if they deserve to be on the list or fuck out of here if they don't. And with number 25, definitely facts. Ice Cube right now, after definitely a hiatus of his own solo albums he hasn't done for years, just dropped a new solo album. And it is already in the top 10 of the Billboard charts, of album charts. So that lets you know his album Man Down, top 10. And I think the last time my man's even did an album by himself was in it says 2018, but I feel like it was 2010. But anyway, my man's hasn't done an album in years. Long story short, and he ain't getting any younger, and he's still able to produce quality music. He was a great lyricist back in NWA, creator lyricist by himself, great movie maker, and now he's showing that he is one of the GOATs of West Coast rap and pretty much rap altogether. So I'm going to say facts. Number 24, 50 Cent. Now, early 2000s, like I said, was more of gangster rap, but it was evolving. And 50 was one of those reasons because he told you a story that really happened where the dude got shot 9 times and survived and goes and becomes a mega hip hop mogul. So we thank 50 Cent for Get Rich or Die Trying. We thank him for all the great albums he did. That one decent movie he did. The fact that he made a video game that wasn't horrible. And the fact that Power is one of the greatest TV shows of all time. So I got to give it to him, though. Because again, now when it's somebody's birthday, In the Club is that anthem. There's other ones, yes. Stevie Wonder's is still a timeless classic, but In the Club is right there. And when them white folks be hearing In the Club, that's when I knew it was a hit. They be in the club like, oh, shorty, it's my birthday. That's how you know. That's how you know your man's made it. So facts on that. Representing Queens to the fullest. Number 23, DMX. What more can I say? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. When it comes to New York City rap, New York City there's a lot of people in New York City based rappers. There's a lot of legends. But I feel like it's hard to say a Mount Rushmore because of the fact of who's the dopest, but it's definitely like him, Jada, Big, Hove, Nas. Like there's a few that are just in an upper echelon on their own level because they are some of the best. And DMX made 5 albums to me that were really, really good. And then he slowed down for a minute. But those first 5, crazy, crazy, crazy good stuff. So I'm going to say facts. Another one that we going to miss him. Because even when I remember when the Lox just made their last album not too long ago, he was on there still sounding the same rough, grimy, street dude. Just, I'ma keep stabbing. Like, that was just him. Like, you were like, damn, this dude's old. Like, he about to be a senior citizen, and he still is from the streets. He never forgot where he came from. So facts. Number 22, Big Daddy Kane. Ooh. Big Daddy Kane was another character to me, in a good way. My sister loved his swag. My man would have the freaking suspenders on with the shirts looking like he was working in Wall Street, came out with the fire furs and the cane, of course, because he's Big Daddy Kane. And he had a really dope cadence and he was flowing with the beat. Like, bam, like he was just going off. So he was one of the dopest dudes in the 80s. Like, there were certain people in the 80s that set themselves apart from every other rapper, like a Run DMC, like a LL Cool J, and he was right up there. So I'm going to say facts for him too. Number 21, Rakim. Thinking of a master plan. Yes, the God MC himself, another one, definitely was one of the dopest lyricists of that time. I remember when I really started understanding hip hop and thinking more about it, when there was things I could understand at a certain age, he was one of those where I could sit down and really be like, yo, he's been some deep ass stuff. So he was one of the ones that made other rappers want to be more conscious minded with their lyrics. And he was dope for that too. So facts. See, it's easy to fly through this when they actually give you really good rappers that you can't say no to. 20, again, with more conscious minded hits, Common. Jay-Z once said in a song, I've been trying to rap like Common Sense and I ain't been rapping like Common Sense. Because he had to even admit that Common lyrically is really, really good. And I remember that album Finding Forever, once he like collaborated with Kanye and majority of the beats were Kanye beats, people really got to see how dope this dude is. They really got to see that. Even the last album he just did with Pete Rock, I believe it got nominated for Grammys, still showed that it don't matter the hit maker that I'm working with. I'm going to make some dope stuff. He's done different things with like Dilla, Ninth Wonder, Kanye, Nep, Pharrell. Like, he is that dude. And he really made you love the poet rap, because that's how I looked at him. He was just like very deep, but it really made you sit there and be like, man, this dude is like really spitting truth. So facts for him too. 19, Tony Stark, Ghostface Killer, the Iron Man himself. There's one reason I'm going to say facts to this. There's one reason. Daytona 500. Or is it Daytona? Either way. Why? Because I make remixed anime rap intros. He was the first one to do it to me. He used clips from Speed Racer and made a fire song with it. And the music video was fire. If you've never seen it, if you were too young for it, please look up, just type in like Ghostface Killer Speed Racer and it'll come up on your screen. It was so good. I remember that was one of my favorite music videos because I was like, yo, is this just a random anime on BET? What is this? And it was dope. But other than that, he was another one that branched out from Wu-Tang and really became his own person and was really good at it. And I am going to be a little biased because when I was in college, he allowed me to interview him over the phone, and he was a really good dude that day too. So I appreciate you, Ghostface Killer. If you ever watch this, I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me interview you. It was really dope to do that and talk with you. And one of my favorite albums was Bulletproof Wallets. One of my favorite songs was Never Be the Same Again with Raekwon and Carl Thomas. Oh my gosh, if you ever go through a breakup, play that song. I promise you'll feel better. Just belt out a tune. Anyway, so facts for him too. 18, Snoop Doggy Dogg. Whew. 18, I'm going to say is facts. Should he be higher? Most likely. I need to see who's higher. But his cadence, his flow, his swag, the fact that to this day, he don't even really got to rap if he don't want to, because now he just does everything else. But he paid, like literally, like what his album said, he paid the cost to be the boss. He is truly one of the best out. There's a bunch of songs you can say that he made that you loved. You know what I mean? Like, he's made so many dope ones. I remember the one with once Drop It Like It's Hot came out. Oh my gosh. And mind you, that was two different time periods. In the 90s, he was doing his thing with all the gangster rap, but then once he slowed down and did songs like Beautiful and Drop It Like It's Hot, he started working with the Neptunes more. He went into a different element that made everybody love him. So to be able to switch that up and still keep that swag that you had before you started toning down what you were saying before, that's a beautiful thing. So facts for that. Snoop Dogg. Number 17. Oh, Tyler, the Creator? Okay, Forbes. Number 17? Yeah, 100%. He's one of the artists for the first time I've ever seen somebody basically grow with their music and get better each and every time to show you he can do this. Like, maybe Childish Gambino would be the other person I've seen do it. But Tyler did it in a way where it's like, I'm basically doing everything and it's about to be this fire. Like, I don't even really need features, but I'm going to get features. But to make dope beats, to make dope rhymes, to tell stories that you really want to tell about your life, what you've been through, good and bad, and to have me sitting there going from, oh, this kid is weird to, damn, but I can't wait for the next project, that is saying something. To have your own tours, like the Camp Nou joint, to do all the things you're doing, like, people want to see you now. And I think the defining moment was when Earthquake came out. That was when everybody, like, immediately loved him. The first 3 albums was like, you had to really want to rock with him. You know what I mean? Like, Cherry Bomb for me was like the album that really, really made me rock with him. But then when Earthquake and all that stuff came out, Magic Wand, even now with Noid and all of that stuff, everybody's really loving this man and what he's doing and what he's bringing to the table. And he's another one of those California rappers, surprisingly. He just is different from them. He's not rapping like those California rappers. He's staying in his own lane and carving out a better legacy for himself. No disrespect to them. So I'm going to say facts for him too, because to be this high up, I can't argue it because he's actually grown into that and deserved that. So number 16, Lil' Kim, another one who, at a time when there wasn't a lot of female rappers, she was able to branch out and become something big. And to be honest, during her time period, it was like her, Foxy Brown, Charlie Baltimore, The Brat was coming up. So there was a few notable names. Like, Queen Latifah was branching off into acting. MC Lyte was stopping. But Lil' Kim is the other one too, where it's like, you quote her stuff, you don't even care what the lyrics is saying. Even when people look at you and go, hey, yo, do you know what you spit? Those is female lyrics. You're like, hey, bro, some of these lyrics is fire. You ain't going to say all of them out loud. I ain't going to hold you. There's some songs where I'm not saying it out loud. But there's a few songs where if I'm in my crib, I'm going to be like, yo, this is a bop. This is a bop. This is a bop. Because I'm just being real. I'm not going to repeat her lyrics and get myself in trouble. But I do remember, I think it was Lil' Kim's hardcore album. And I just liked the beats that was on there. But the lyrics were so crazy. I remember I was like 8 years old. And my sister let me borrow the album. And I was like, this album is so fire. And, and I remember my mom walked in and was pissed. Took the whole CD, yelled at my sister. Sister yelled at me. I couldn't borrow my sister's music for a little while. But my sister was older than me. She was like an adult at this point. So she could have gotten me the music. And I was so in love with, like, that was one of my crushes when I was a kid. I ain't gonna hold you, but also just the music was dope. Lil' Kim was a vibe back in the day. And when I got in high school and she did the Quiet Storm remix, forget about it. So definitely facts represent for the ladies. I don't know if she's the highest lady on here, but for now it looks like she is. Number 15, A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky is the top 15 rappers of all time. Are y'all crazy, Forbes? You saying A$AP is better than Tyler? Is better than Cube? Talib Kweli? fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. No, 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 no. Don't get me wrong. I rocks with A$AP Rocky. I think he's dope. But no, absolutely not. I am not going to sit here and justify that at all. I do not think he's one of the top 15 rappers of all time, Forbes. I don't know what made y'all think that. His first two albums were okay. His third album wasn't really that great. And I think he made a fourth album. And the other stuff he did with A$AP Mob, putting on Ferg and them is cool. He got hits. He got Rihanna. I can't be mad at that. I could be a little jealous about the Rihanna thing. But I don't think he's worthy of. I think he's another one of those that's like top 100, but not top 50. Not even top 15. No, fuck out of here. I'm sorry. Number 14, Chuck D. Now, Chuck D is one of the few rappers that was able to tell it like it is, like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. He did it in a 90 cents. And he helped you love him and Flavor Flav. And anybody who can do that to me is you're a great lyricist as it is. But he really made you sit there and go, man, were we really going through it that much? If you didn't know what was going on before with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, you had an idea with this man. So I'm going to say facts. He definitely was ahead of his time. And you don't really see a lot of rappers rapping like him anymore, trying to tell you what's going on in the world and how you should be cautious as a man or a woman of color. It's not that often. So I'm going to say facts on that. Oh, spoke too soon about the female rappers. Number 13 is Missy. This might be the highest female rapper on here. And this also is facts. Missy was a beast. Every song she made was fire. She's a bitch. Like, everything was dope. All her out. She made songs with so many big time artists like Eminem and Hove and Mariah Carey. Like, so many people. Like, she did that. That was her. She made that work. She is a legend. I think she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now, too, for what she's done with her music game. And she deserves all the flowers. I loved almost all the music she made. And she was dope. And she could sing, too. So, yeah, definitely facts on that. One of the greatest female lyricists of all time, pretty much. But definitely one of the top 15. Number 12, Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. Definitely pushed down. I'm surprised he's not top 5. He's usually top 5 in a lot of people's list. I mean, goes without saying that although he left us too soon in his life, his several albums that he made when he was alive, especially Life After Death, was some of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. He was a great storyteller. He was a great rhymer. He was ahead of the game. And he was destined for so much more. And it just sucks that he was taken away from us too soon. But I definitely was always a fan of Life After Death. That was one of my favorite albums. And I'm more of like, when I listen to hip hop, I usually love beats. I love instrumentals. Like, if I hear a dope beat, if I hear a dope beat, I'm going to make that beat tight face. Like, shout out to Sherman Showcase. But I'm definitely going to be hype about what I hear. Because that, like, sometimes to me, that sets the tone. For some people, it might be the lyrics. But and some people, it might be who's on the song in terms of features or just the artists themselves. But for me, if I hear a dope beat, I'll give you a quick 5-minute listen. 5 minutes is usually the whole song. I'll give you a couple minutes. But if the lyrics start getting bad, I'll be like, man, good thing this beat is cool. So Biggie definitely was one of those dudes. And he put Bad Boy on the map. Without him, I don't think Bad Boy would have been as hot. So, I mean, it ain't what it used to be now, thanks to recent news. But anyway, that's facts. Number 11, Andre 3000. They have him at 11. Maybe it's because he stopped rapping and started doing the jazz flute stuff. But jazz flute still got him a Grammy nomination. So doing something right. But anyway, of course he's facts. Again, I've said this in the last video. I'm going to say it again. There's always somebody in a rap group, whether it's a duo of 2 people, a faction of 3 or more, that decide to branch out, go solo, and they do really, really good. And Andre 3000 technically only made like 1 solo rap album. Even though it was a part of an Outkast album, he still just made 1 album that was like, all right, this is cool. And it ended up becoming like more people cared about the Love Below than they did Speaker Box. And Speaker Box was good, but people really loved the Love Below. He sang, he rapped, he did it all. And then he became a really good featured artist. The Walk It Out remix, Throw Some D's remix, International Players Anthem. He really started jumping on people's tracks and was doing better than everybody. And I just said those three because those, when I was in college, those are the three best like features I ever heard in my life. So I wish he gave us that one solo album by himself and not the Jazz Food album. I wish him and Outkast and Andre Big Boy, came back and did Outkast again. But hey, just have to take it for what it is. He is one of the greatest lyricists. If you haven't heard this man in any of those features that I just said, do yourself a favor and listen to it. I promise you will not be disappointed. Number 10, here we go. Top 10 rappers of all time. Eminem. Top 10 rapper of all time. Facts. He's one of the greatest white rappers of all time, too. Like, before it was just the Beastie Boys, it was like, all right, whatever. No, he came out. Like, if you look at a Mount Rushmore, it's like him, Mac Miller, Beastie Boys, But he came out the gate. Slim Shady LP was just like something I never heard before at the time. And this dude was nasty, too. Like, he could spit lyrics that make you sit there and go, wait, what did he just say? What? And you had to run it back and make sure you wasn't bugging. Like, he is that dude. Like, 8 Mile, my man freestyled against people. I heard that, like, the actual final battle in 8 Mile, he freestyled for real against every person who was just actors. And then he beat, I don't even think freaking Red Falcon even wanted it, aka Captain America, my man Papa Doc, Anthony Mackie. I don't even think he wanted to rap him. But anyway, he did freestyle him. And then if you go into the deleted scenes, he's freestyling more. And he's killing people. He's that dude. He earned his stripes. He went to war with a lot of artists, a lot of people, and came out victorious. And people salute him for that. He gets flowers in all the hip hop world because he was that damn good. And we thank Dr. Dre for finding him, and we thank him for finding 50 Cent. So yeah, facts. Number 9, Nas. What more can we say, man? Went to war with Jay-Z, came out, didn't win the war, but still was able to cement his legacy with Ether. And it was one of the greatest diss tracks of all time, outside of, Not Like Us. But anyway, Nas is still going to this day. My man is like 50 years old or something like that. Still going. Still making good music to this day. King's Disease 1, 2, and 3. Forget about it. Problem. Magic, all that stuff. He's just one of the greatest rappers to me of all time. If it wasn't for Hove, I think he'd probably be up there. So, but he deserves to be on this list. Definitely top 10. Facts. Number 8, Nicki Minaj. I said Nicki Minaj is better than Nas? All right, listen. Don't get me wrong. She deserves to be on the list. I just don't think this high up in the top 10. To say she's better than, certain other rappers like Missy and Lil' Kim. However, I think it's because the reason, and trust me, back when I was doing this show with like my guys like Aunt McGee, Young Dev, they was not Nicki Minaj fans at all. And I didn't mind her. It's not just about her beauty. It was about the fact that she actually did have good lyrics. She actually didn't have bad albums. And she became a global icon from like 2007 to probably 20, I think it was like a good 10, 15-year run where she was that chick. She was that chick. And like people were mad because like she didn't give like proper props or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, she was holding it down for herself. And she was holding it down a lane for her gender. And she was killing it with hit after hit after hit and working with some of the biggest names in the game. Like she did a song with Cameron that was fire. She did a song with Eminem that was fire. Rihanna, Beyonce, Hove, Kanye, Drake himself, Lil Wayne. Like, she made hits. She made a name for herself. And at the time, she was unquestionably one of the greatest female artists at the moment. Because Missy was chilling, Cardi was chilling, and it was her. So she did that. She made that work. So there is reason to argue that she should be on the list. Oh, just messed up my mic. There is reason to argue that she should be on the list, and that is the reason. For her period, when she came out, she became it's not often a rapper becomes a global icon, let alone able to transcend a pop star and a rap star. You know what I mean? And she was able to make that happen. So speaking of, number 7, Kanye West, another person. He was just a dope beat maker that became a lyrical genius. My man needed just 3 albums. 3. The first 3 albums we heard from him. First, College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation. Like, just those first 3 albums was all we needed to go, this is the guy. This is the guy that we've been missing. And he's that damn good. Yes, what came after was not what anybody expecting. It was a complete heel turn that we did not want nor need. Excuse me. It was definitely like Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock having the world love them, and then they just do some heinous act that makes you go, what just happened? Or when Hulk Hogan dropped the leg drop and you're like, now he's a bad guy? But we loved this guy for like 20 years. So that's how we felt with Kanye. We loved him for so long. And then 808s and Heartbreaks was like the last straw, and then Yeezus came out and it just fell apart. But that doesn't stop him from being on this list because he is a great lyricist. He's still proven, even with Vultures, that he's not bad. And Watch the Throne was an amazing work between him and Jay. So yeah, he gets to stay on the list. Number 6, Drake. Now, let's remember, this list was made in March, before the rap beef went into full gear. This was when like Drake was still throwing punches, but he wasn't backing down, and then eventually lost. So there was a time, again, when Nicki Minaj was hot, Drake was up there. And remember, we look at them as the big 3, Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar, and we look at them that way for that reason. Again, 2007 to now, Drake is one of the biggest artists. When you get him on a feature, you're like, oh, my song's about to blow up because Drake is on the track. I could rap like trash, but this man's about to come in, and I'm going to pay him a good amount of money to spit some bars. So Drake definitely deserves it. I hate the fact that he went through this beef and he got just destroyed. But all that aside, he's made some of the greatest rap songs of the 2010s. He became one of the biggest artists, and the only person who could stop him was another bigger artist. Nobody else could stop this man. Even Pusha T, who beat him, couldn't stop the popularity that he had. Only Kendrick could really be the one to take him out. So for that reason, he stays. Number 5, top 5, Tupac Shakur. Another one that was gone too soon from us. I remember when Lil Xan called him boring, and it was like, why? And it wasn't that he was boring. It was like he was the thugged out version of Common. He just spit a lot of things about the world and just about life that really had you like, wow, this man is deep. He deep. He didn't have to be this deep, but he was. And he went from rapping about hoes and stuff to like really rapping about death and heaven and all this stuff. Come on, man. My man made a song that was called I Wonder If Heaven Had a Ghetto. Like, that made you really sit there and go, man, I hope it does. I don't know. Like, he was that deep. And everybody always argued, was like, was he better than Biggie? Was he not better than Biggie? We'll never know. But what we will know is that he will be missed because he was dope. And he was a dope actor, too. He was really getting into his bag. So I definitely will put him in a top 5 category. So there we go. Number 4, J. Cole, Jermaine Cole. Jermaine Cole is another person who, at the same time as Drake, found a lane and stuck with it. And once that Forest Hills Drive album came out, it was lights out. He became undeniably one of the greatest artists. And he was another one who, if you put him on a feature, it's over. He gonna make your song. And he did the right thing backing out of this beef so he could be the rapper that we want him to be. I don't care about him beefing with rappers and making all these like diss lyrics. I care that he's doing what he's doing right now. So Facts, my boy. I can't wait for the next project. But every album you've done so far, even the ones you did with no features, were really, really good. Keep up the good work. Number 3, top 3. Here we go. Top 3. Number 3, Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne. Oh, man. When I was a teenager, I remember it was 500 Degrees and Lights Out were two of my favorite Lil Wayne albums. And he was young. He was like probably 18, 19 or whatever. And he was killing it. I didn't care about the lyrics. I just cared that like this was a guy who was a young man who was just talking about like, I'm a young man in a grown man's game. And I had to be thrusted into this game a lot earlier than most people. And to hear that was real influential to me because, you know, when you're young, you think you want to be in the hood, you think you want to do this other stuff. And you hear this dude that's like, he told a whole story about how he basically got cool with Birdman, how Birdman put him on the block. And I was like, man, do I really want to do all that? And when I really tried to do similar stuff, not even any of that really, but similar stuff, just being on the block, I was like, I'm not built for this. And I went home and started watching anime and playing video games. That's why Nerds in the Hood is what it is now. So I thank Lil Wayne because he became that. And then when he became Mixtape Wayne, Carter 2 Wayne got me through college. But Mixtape Wayne was a different story. And then Carter 3 Wayne let us know he has arrived. He has arrived. He was one of the dopest artists. And I mean, I think he would have did a good job with the Super Bowl. But be that as it may, this man I think everybody on this list in terms of the top 10 especially, if you got them on a feature, you were going to make bread. Which brings me to my number 2 person, because number 3 is Facts for Wayne. And number 2 is also Facts because it's Kendrick Lamar. What a rise to jump and be now the number 2 rapper of all time, above all 48 of these other people. To say that you're the number 2 rapper. And it shows. How many rappers you know got a diss track that's getting nominated for a Grammy? He's about to headline a Super Bowl over the man whose hometown he's in. Like, the man is amazing at what he's done. And he is another person who can dive between making party music and making common style conscious music and talk to you and make you think about like what you need to do for the Black community. He makes you think like that. He also is coming from Cali where he knows about, you know, death and gang violence and all this other stuff. Because Cali's different. Like New York, I can still get home and be all right. To know that I got to go through California and watch what I'm wearing and now I got to know where my grandmama stay and all this other stuff. I don't want to do that. New York, I ain't never had to tell nobody, yeah, my grandmother stay up the block. Come on, fam. That first album lets you know, like, it's rough out there where he from. It's real. And he took you on that journey for several albums. And look at him now. My man dropped GNX. The whole world didn't know how to act. We was turned up all day. So, man's a legend. He is now a legend, bona fide legend. And the last person, no introduction because he is also a legend. Happy belated birthday, Jay-Z. Facts. In My Lifetime Volume 1, still one of my favorite Jay-Z albums. And Reasonable Doubt. Actually, the whole In My Lifetime series was such good stuff to me. But he's made, to me, a lot of good albums. Holy Carter, Magna Carta or whatever, Holy Grail, and that one wasn't that good. But he's made a lot of good albums. This guy is, like, when Biggie passed, we didn't know as New Yorkers who was going to be the next one to step up. And him and Nas fought for that throne, and he took it. He took the throne, and here we are. He is the Jordan of rap. He is one of the realest. When the Black Album came out and he said he was retiring, nobody knew how to act. We thought like, well, I guess we got to turn back to Nas, or if somebody else comes out, I guess we got to turn to them. I don't know what we're going to do. And look, here we are. He still came back out of retirement, even gave us an album about telling us that, you know, I cheated on one of the hottest women of all time. And thankfully, she took me back. So he was able to make all of that happen and make us flow with every move that he's going through. And now man's is an old man chilling. You don't really got to make a rap album or even a song anymore. He can just be featured and chill. Oh, sorry about that, folks. And he deserves the top spot. He is one of the greatest rappers of all time. The business moves he's made, the ventures he capitalized on, the songs he's been featured in from the 80s all the way until now, he's always been a part of the game. And the fact that everybody's going to know about him until he gets old and just decides that he's just done or it's his time to go, the fact that my kids is going to know who he is a beautiful thing. I don't have any kids, but when I do, they will know. And that's it, folks. That is the Forbes top 50 rappers of all time, broken down into 2 videos. Basically, I just had to do this. I know we've been doing a lot of anime stuff, a lot of TV shows and movies, but we got to remember we're nerds in the hood. We're going to talk about hood stuff sometimes, time to time. If there are some rappers that I felt were not on this list that should have been, I felt maybe like I didn't hear Young Jeezy's name. That was interesting to me. I was surprised that Young Jeezy wasn't on it. I was surprised that, I thought there was a spot for 2 Chainz, but I guess not. I thought there was a spot for, I was trying to think of his name the whole time while I was sitting here. But there was a few rappers that I really thought that I was like, man, I'm surprised they didn't put you on here. Maybe Big Pun, I thought, but I guess Big Pun didn't do enough for them to say that was an impact. Old Dirty, RZA. Like there was a few. I know RZA is more of a beat maker, but there was a few that I thought should be on there. I'll probably write in the comments as time progresses. I'm not going to sit here and try to really sit and think about it. But Young Jeezy was definitely one I was shocked about. The Game was another one I was shocked about too. I just felt like they did make impacts when they first arrived onto the scene. T.I. was another one I was definitely shocked about. I was like, wow, I didn't hear T.I. at all. Q-Tip was another one I was shocked about. So there's a good reasonable amount of names that should be on this list that are not, and that really bugged me. But hey, now my list is Forbes' list, and that's why we do facts or fuck out of here. So we're gonna end that segment there, and we'll come back with more Nerds in the Hood greatness. Again, follow us on all social media using the link tree below in the description, and hit us up anytime, man. Hit us up in the comments. Let's talk about it. Who do you think should have been on the list that's not on the list? Even if it's a modern rapper, old school rapper, whatever the case may be, let us talk about it. I am all ears. Catch y'all next time, folks. Peace. Nerds in the Hood.